Hello and welcome to the Streamcast, episode number 57. I'm Blackamura, and I didn't come up with a name this time, and I'm joined by...
Henry Cooldown. I came up with a name. I'm on job.
I forgot that we did that.
The turns have truly been tabled.
Actually, no, I've got one. I am Akira from Persona 5.
Oh, well,
Okay,
that's what you
all
did
right,
there.
we're doing this.
Yeah.
I am...
You could be PaRappa the Rapper if you want. He's a cult classic.
I gotta believe. Oh, man. I'll take it. And here we are talking about all the things that you may have missed over the last couple of weeks, including many milestones from PlayStation. Over 1 million Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart units sold, over 6.5 million Miles Morales units sold, and over 500,000 Returnal copies sold. So a lot of these new Sony first-party games doing really well. Any thoughts on these? Have you played any of these games? I know I've played 2 of the 3, and I think they're really good. They are deserving of all the praise and the flowers they're getting right now. Have any of you played either of those games?
I think it's just you, actually.
It's just you, mate. Yeah.
It is, yeah, because you got Miles Morales as a gift. You got Ratchet and Clank as a gift. Ain't nobody buying me Isaac PS5 games.
You give me PS5, Andy.
Hold on. What do you think this is?
Your CFO.
The Bully Blackamura show. Am I on the wrong show?
Okay, that's the name of the episode.
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay. But yeah, it is like a really good step that these games are setting out really quickly, and despite all that's been said about console gaming dying and not wanting any physical media or anything like that, 10 million PS5s have been sold since November, and I hear you ask, to who? Who? I've got one. And I know someone who's got one, so...
Now you're just showing off, mate. Now you're just showing off.
Bully who? The PS5 has been a great console. Has had a great launch. It's got a lot to live up to because the PS4 was absolutely fantastic, and it is really closing in on the Game Boy sales. I don't think it will reach it, but it's closing in. What do you guys think about 10 million PS5 sold, the fastest selling ever PlayStation console?
People were bored during lockdown.
Yeah, that's a lot of money as well. Like, I don't want to hear we don't have money to make this game, blah blah blah. You know how much a PS5 costs, and you've already sold 10 million, and you're telling me you can't afford to make... Let me not go on a Days Gone rant.
Oh no. You will never let them rest.
I will never let them rest. This will be carried down into my grandchildren. They will be asking, so where is it?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but are PS5 sold at a loss and they recoup based on software sales? Or are those the other consoles?
You might be right. You might be right on that. I do remember seeing something on that, and then I instantly forgot. It is one of the most recent ones that is sold at a loss, but I can't remember if it was the PS5.
Really?
Yeah, I know it's not the PS4 because that was done to counteract what they did with the PS3, which was selling at a loss because of the hardware and the fact that people weren't buying it. Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I kind of get it because they are pretty flipping pricey.
Yeah.
And PS5 even actually no. Before I go into that's a later topic on today's pod, so I'll wait.
Yeah. I don't know why I'm complaining because I didn't have to purchase mine, did I?
Sony has announced that they've had their best Q1 ever in terms of revenue and profit. So PlayStation, the gaming business, has contributed $672 million operating profit at Q1, which was the end of June. So it's all looking good for the Sony giant.
Look at the idea that they're like operating at a loss. Like, this is the loss I would like to operate at. Like, I might struggle, but I think I could make it through the winter.
I've got it down here. 116 million PS4 sold, and I think
wait, is that in revenue?
Units. 116 million units of the PS4 have been sold.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I thought you meant the PS5. I was like, how have they sold that many? What?
Not yet.
They don't have that many.
20 seconds.
Not yet. They are a couple of million off the Game Boy. So, I mean, the PS4 winds down to the end of its cycle. Probably maybe a few thousand, 100,000 more. But a very successful generation, considering the controversy that was the PS3 generation.
Well, considering they're going to stop making the PS4 in a bit, how much do you think Kex is going to try and charge you for one?
Probably full price, full release day price.
Yeah,
they're busters like that, you know.
I swear the one near me, you know, when Sony released The Last of Us the special edition PlayStation, that it was nearly twice as expensive to get it from the Kex across the road than it was to get it just to get it from Sony. So
it's mad. Wow. And then if you ever go in there and you think you're getting a good deal, like look how much they're buying it for, and you realize, nah, I'm getting bumped.
Yep. It's the strangest business model. They are telling you outright you're getting ripped off. But I guess like if you need urgent cash or you need to flip something real quick, I do get it. But
the only reason I go in there is for cheap video games. Like I couldn't wait for like 2 to 3 working days to get a copy of some PS3 game, but that I'm gonna spend £12 to get it. Consumerism has got us by the neck.
100%.
And it's not all PlayStation, because apparently 6.5 million Xbox Series X and S units have been sold, making this the most fast-selling Xbox console ever. So it's looking good on the blue and the green side of the gaming scene.
Where our console was.
We don't use that term anymore.
I mean, the numbers are not lying, and they are true.
But this is good for everyone, because when, you know, both sides are doing really well, then it elevates everything. And I'm happy to hear that, you know, the Xbox has been selling well. Game Pass is still fantastic and something that, you know, we all need to get at some point.
I still want an Xbox. I'm not discrediting it. I would also like an Xbox. So
you're both. Fair enough.
I feel like I should be able to have both. Like,
treat yourself.
Yeah.
We deserve luxury in our lives.
This treat yourself. It doesn't come once a year. It's just like every single day. Like, I deserve this. I deserve this.
I've been treating myself for 30 years now.
And I'll do it again.
Let us know if you are watching or listening to this podcast, whether you have a PS5, Xbox Series X, or Series S.
Or do you have both?
Yeah, or both. All of them.
All.
Now, going back to the PS5s a little bit, people have been talking about the size of the PS5, and not just the physical size, like the internal size, the storage. And now Sony have announced that they have released or are releasing official compatible SSDs, solid state drives. And Isaac's face says it all. For listeners, he looks like he smelt a fart. Because what they're selling here is bullshit. So Seagate are the company who are going to be selling the SSDs. 500 gigabytes will cost you $149. A terabyte will cost you $254. 2 terabytes will cost you $514. And 4 terabytes, if you want the big boys, the big guns, the heavy artillery and the heavy machinery, that's going to cost you $999.
Just round it up. It's going to cost you $1,000, man. Like,
I mean, CX will sell it for $1,000.
Don't forget, we need shipping, and you can't just have like the average shipping for like wait, who is it? For Hermes to throw at you as if they're doing javelin in the Olympics. You need the insured shipping. So
Yes.
it's a grand.
We want the good shipping.
It's a grand. We want DPD.
Also, can I just say, why does the accessory cost more than the actual console? I don't. It's a console. It doesn't make it. If it was PC, all right, fair enough. But isn't the whole point of consoles like it's just easy? Like you buy it, it does what it needs to do, and then that's it. I don't think peripherals should cost more than the console. I think that's wild.
At that point, the 4 terabyte size, you could just get a PC, or you can get enough parts to like build a PC. So I don't understand why you're paying that much for that. As you said, the 4 terabyte size is double the size of a PlayStation, double the price of a PlayStation.
You know what? Yeah, I was just thinking because I'm doing my PC build at the moment. I have just bought a Seagate 4 terabyte hard drive. It was nowhere near that fucking price. It was cheaper than the 500 gigabytes. So I don't know what they think they're doing. They're taking a piss.
I
No,
do
they really
find it
are.
a bit nuts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like, you have to open up your PlayStation as well and like do some stuff to it. I hope that doesn't void your warranty, because you know what these companies are like when they're like, "Don't open anything, we'll void your warranty." Like, don't make me buy this thing. Nah, come on.
These are the only things that we're allowed to work on our console. Aha! You fell into my trap card.
Now you need a new PS5.
Oh, sorry. You're gonna have to buy a new one.
I'm sure it won't come down to that though. Like, that would be terrible.
You say
that would be a
that.
terrible business model.
And yet they will do it. Like companies will do that if they can. They'll get away with what they can get away with.
Exactly.
What are you going to do? Do you have the money to sue Sony? It would be cheaper than just buy a new PS5.
Many people do.
Would,
yeah.
If you are listening or watching to this podcast, let us know your thoughts. Will you be getting a PS5 compatible SSD for when you have just too many games for your console? Or do you think this is, quite frankly, a waste of money?
I mean,
Now,
it has to be.
Go on.
No, just the last point is, this is the PS5 where they've optimized everything and everything looks beautiful. Like, games are going to be massive. And then the PlayStation 5 comes with, like, I think 800 gigabytes as standard. You only get, like, 600 of those. Like, how many games can you actually have? You've got to delete things at a certain point. You can't just have them stored there. And, like hard times to everyone who's got a digital edition. What are they going to do? Have they got access to the cloud? But anyways, that's my rant over.
I mean, we could talk about that a bit. Like, digital owners are going to be the ones punished the most because they don't even have the luxury to like play around with the physical discs and stuff.
Oh yeah, shit. They need to pick up their swords and head over to their head office. Demand some restitution.
Considering on average digital games cost more than the physical counterparts, like they're already starting at a loss.
I still don't get that.
That's actually really upsetting to me.
That's because they can.
No,
we looked into it one time and there was no actual reason for digital games to be more expensive than their physical counterparts. It makes no sense.
They're really just like, who's going to beat me up? Like, what are you going to do if I don't change price, huh?
Exactly.
You going to cry?
Show me where else you're going to get a digital PlayStation game, yeah? And then we'll talk about lowering our prices.
This is why jailbreak exists.
Exactly. It is ridiculous. And with the size of games just getting larger and larger, like you look at The Last of Us 2 and you look at Final Fantasy 7 Remake, games that had to come on 2 discs, 1 disc just to load the main game on. And, you know, the stuff that they're trying to achieve on this new generation, on this new console, like we might all need to be looking at drives if we're trying to be playing PS5 games. Or we're deleting one at a time, deleting, re-downloading.
We're deleting. I'm sorry. The amount of money that has been spent on Sony games and technology, at some point, they need to start paying for my healthcare because it's getting ridiculous.
Can you still use a like a USB drive like regularly on the PS5? Obviously, you won't be able to play from it, but you still just store games on that.
Good question. I don't know.
Wouldn't know.
I'll look into it after the pod. But if that's the case, then I'm not mad because You don't have to play your games all the time. Just move them to the hard drive and keep it moving.
Oh, you mean okay? Yeah, you mean a hard drive, not a USB. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, hard drive.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I would imagine so. Obviously, you can do that with the
nice.
PS4.
Mm.
Don't know about the PS5. That's something that we need to look up. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. That's calm. Yeah, I'm not mad anymore then, if that's the case.
I'm still mad. But we'll move on to something to get us all mad. Activision. And of course, this has happened weeks ago at this point. But we touched on this in the last part, and I feel there's a bit more that we could talk about because a lot of some new stuff has come into light. And I want to know if Akira has any thoughts on this. So employees staged a walkout and they went on strike. Like, if you're in London, TfL do that like every month. And,
oh God!
You know, it's a protest. It's a peaceful protest, and that was. I think this was in response to the initial response to the lawsuit. The CEO has come out and said that the initial response was tone deaf, but I imagine who approved the initial response in the first place. The initial response from Fran Townsend states that the lawsuit presented a distorted and untrue picture of Ubisoft, Activision, Freudian slip there, including factually incorrect, old and out of context stories. I don't know what is so out of context of spreading naked pictures of a colleague in a group chat with other Activision workers, but
it's not that. It's like, in what context would that have been appropriate? Please lay the scene for us where it was okay behavior inside or outside work to spread someone's nudes without their permission. We have time.
We'll wait.
I'll genuinely wait. I'm so glad. I know when we cussed them a few pods back, I did wonder, did I cuss them too much? The answer is not enough.
Yeah, you guys got to listen to the Rooney Rule. Akira damn near blows a blood vessel just...
Yeah. It's like a vein pulsating on my head like a weird undersea creature. Yeah, that actually winded me up.
Activision has hired Wilmer Hale, an anti-union legal firm, which has been hired by other companies in a similar space to review the company's policies and practices. Thoughts on the not-so-new developments going on in Activision?
I don't know what Wilmer Hale does exactly, but if it's any less than flogging the people that need to be flogged, it won't be enough. I don't think, in the terms of the activities that I've heard, I don't know what else is out there, but I have seen some shit, that anything short of firing people and running their name through the mud, it's not going to be acceptable. No, we don't want a new image. We don't want, I do not want anybody doing an apology tour. I want you fired. I don't want to see you working in this field again. You need to be blacklisted. No one needs to work with you. You need to be thrown out like the cats in Tom and Jerry, where the woman just throws them outside into the trash. That's what needs to happen. It's time to go, bloods. You need to go. No resigning. You need to be fired.
Any thoughts, Isaac?
I just agree with everything Akira said. I don't think there's anything to add.
Yeah.
She's on a rampage. I don't want her to throw me out as well. She's out for blood. It just brought me back to remember when we were talking about the Rooney Rule, and they were like, we don't need to do this because we already do it. The number of claims that they've had about stuff. You were lying. You're lucky we can't take you to court for this kind of lying because, yeah, the warden would tell you when it was time to leave. They wouldn't even give you a sentence. It would be life for lying. These Pinocchio-looking bitches would be poking people in the eyes.
Akira, would you ever get into law? I think you do quite well.
Would you ever? I thought you were going to ask me if I'd ever get into cage fighting because I'm like, I feel like it now.
I mean, I'd watch that too.
No, because I think the idea of going through school for all of this would be really long. But if I could miraculously wake up with the powers of a lawyer, and go and fight these people in court, I'd do it. They're going to jail. They're going beneath the jail. Absolutely. We're flipping the whole system upside down.
Love that. Love
that. On Twitter, I found that the Blizzard president stepped down, and he's not the only one. A couple of other people high up in Blizzard / Activision have resigned and stepped down. And on top of that, the Cosby Suite made its way to Twitter, which has got to be the most vile thing I've seen for a very long time. Probably the most vile thing I've seen on Twitter due to the implications. And I mean, if you look into it, there's a lot of stories and there's actual meaning behind the suite, and it's beyond creepy. It sends a chill down your spine, which is not in a good way. I do think we're starting to see the rats kind of vacate the ship that is sinking, and it's annoying that these people are going to get away with it who have stepped down, because they're not going to be asked, why did you leave your last job? And they're not going to answer, oh yeah, because I was found, taking pictures of my colleagues, underwear, and I was, sitting around with my colleagues. They're going to get away with this nonsense again. And all that means is they're taking their toxicity to another company, which is not stopping the problem, it's spreading it. Wilmer Hill is probably not going to sort this out. What they need to do is, I want to say you stop people from stepping down and resigning, but you can't actually do that. But these people need to be held to account. And just because they've resigned, I really hope that they're not off the hook, because they are still as liable now as they were back then.
This is why they shouldn't have been allowing people to do resignations. Because, at the level that we are in our jobs, if we mess up, we are out there with the quickness. We won't even have times to pack our bags and say goodbye to people. They'll hoof us out without a second's notice. How are you letting these people get 6 months severance package, a nice fucking holiday in Malibu and shit, and just leaving their jobs like they're not the ringleaders? I blame the Lord, because he gave rats the ability to swim. If they didn't swim, this would have been fine, because those rats wouldn't be swimming either. They'd be drowning.
Can I just say, I know it's a bit off topic, but can we get an Akira soundboard? Because everything coming out of her is gold.
I think that can be arranged.
Oh dear.
I know we talked about a little bit on the previous pod what we'd like to see going forward. Obviously, Bobby Kotick needs to just get the fuck out of Activision. He needs to be booed out of the company, because being the CEO or something like this means you are governing this, you are protecting this, you are growing and nurturing this culture. And as far as I'm concerned, he's the figurehead for all of this behavior.
To be wearing the boots that kick him out of the company, some big old Doc Martens with hoof.
Yeah, that's a company that needs a coup d'etat. And I mentioned Ubisoft earlier. That was kind of by accident, but also not so, because there's been some stuff going on there as well. I don't know how bad it is, but I'm sure one day the evil has been happening in the darkness is going to come to light. And I just really need these companies to just fix up, get rid of all the figureheads nurturing this. How can you, as a human being, just know that people are doing this 9 to 5 and then go home to your family and be like, yeah, I had a good day today?
It's because it's not connected to them. These people do not see other people or women as individuals unless they're connected to them, like their wife or their sister or their child. They are inconsequential. That's why they feel they can do whatever they like and then scurry back home like a little cockroach. And the people in their circle, the women know them as well. They know what they like, but they're within the circle, so it doesn't affect them.
They're part of the cool kids.
They're part of the cool kids.
Yeah, even as somewhere as ineffectual as Love Island, or your favorite rapper. How many times I can say how many times I've seen a weird statement where it's you wouldn't do that if if someone was talking about that to your sister or to your mother. Like there was a time where Jay-Z was like, "Oh, I'm gonna stop using the word bitches because I've got a daughter now," and it's like, what? She's not the first woman to be born. What are you talking about?
You're married to Beyonce, and only now you want to stop using the word bitches.
Interesting.
He is ungrateful.
That's something that is a clear actualization of Akira's point there, and it's very weird, and I don't know what we don't know. I mean, we know why, but like how we change that, how we stop that, that's another issue altogether. I do not have the answers to. But if you're listening or watching to this podcast, let us know your thoughts on the whole Activision scandal. Now, we're going to talk about the Black Widow movie a little bit here. Did anyone watch this? No?
No.
Okay, cool. My second question, why not? Why didn't you watch this?
Just never been interested in Black Widow. She's, I think, one of my least favorite characters in the MCU.
Is that because the story she's in? Is that because of her presentation?
I just don't. Me personally, like I know people love her, but I just don't see why she's there. I mean, you've got Thor. Oh, absolutely love Thor. We've got Captain America, who I've just always like. He's just the good boy. I don't know. I like something about that. And what he did in Endgame predicted that. I won't spoil anything. I know it's an old film and you haven't seen it by now. I mean, maybe you deserve to be spoiled, but I'm not going to say it. It's such a great moment.
It's on Netflix, isn't it?
Is it? We'll watch it again. So. Like you got a Black Panther. Like just Africa is now like it's been put on the map. Well, I say it's been put on the map because it's one of the better representations we have. Like growing up, it was like Superman and Batman and whatnot, and like okay, they were the superheroes, but I mean, I couldn't do a coil in my hair like Superman did. I could want to pretend to be him, but I wasn't quite close. There was Dragon Ball Z. Oh yeah, Goku, great, but I'm not really Goku. Black Panther, however, looks like me. That's what I mean by like on the map. And yeah, there are like even certain villains like Thanos. Oof, Thanos. But like Natasha Romanoff, I don't really care for her much. She just seems like a regular spy that's just really punching above her weight. Like she's had some great moments, but sorry.
Fair enough. I just wanted to know.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Akira?
Oh God, no. No, I haven't seen it. Well, I'm like, there's not many movies that I will go out to watch straight away. I mean, it took me 2 years to watch Endgame, guys. So my heart's not in it. I think, yeah, the Black Widow character does not particularly seem like someone who's incredibly fleshed out. And from what I've heard of her story, I don't like it. I don't like her backstory. I don't like how they think in order to make a female character that's gone through some kind of trauma that makes them this way, you have to equate not being able to have children with being a monster. I'm not entertaining that rubbish. I'm really not. Like, could you not write a better story?
Like, give her some kids. Make those kids her like minions that cause problems. Make it a family affair. Yeah.
Hey, I would love to watch that.
Like a woman's backstory does not need to come from her ability to have kids or not. And I feel like a lot of the time when they're making a woman's background as a character, it's as a mother or as somebody's girlfriend. It's never as a person. So I was like, I'm not watching this, man.
What do you think of Gamora then? Because I think she's done well, but I'm not a woman. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I'm not that big of a Marvel fan now. So as time has gone on, I feel like it's not that. I think they work well as a team. I couldn't see Gamora getting her own film. I don't think there's enough of her to flesh out an entire film with. Her backstory was put into like the last Avengers movies. So, yeah.
That's all very fair in my opinion.
Mm.
And I didn't watch Black Widow either. Why not? Because she doesn't come across as a superhero to me. She just comes across as a slightly more competent human being.
Right?
She comes like, you remember Totally Spies, right?
Yes.
Love that show.
She reminds me of the one that was like in the darker suit, right? Who was like slightly more powerful than the others, like the White Ranger in the Power Rangers. You know, that one offbeat character.
What are you
There was a
talking
full-
about?
There's a full spy.
I think
No way.
No,
Right,
th-
right, pause
no.
this,
There's
pause this.
3, and then there's like another girl
There's-
who occasionally wears gets involved, and she wears a purple
she's
suit.
purple.
Oh yeah, she's like Clover's
diversity
enemy.
hire.
I don't know if she's a
Diversity hire.
I thought
No,
Alex
no,
was
no.
the diversity.
Yeah,
hire.
Alex is like, she's ambiguous. I don't know where she's from, but there's a purple one. This one,
Yeah,
who's a
yeah.
Mandy.
Mandy.
That's what her name is.
yeah.
I think it's a Britney.
It's Mandy.
Well, it says Mandy.
Yes,
here.
Mandy.
I'm seeing Britney here.
Who are you talking about?
Who are you seeing?
Britney is a Whoop agent and was the newest recruit when she was introduced in season 2.
I know we're talking about the mean girl.
Oh.
The mean girl.
I'll put it in the private chat.
Oh, all right. Are there 5 spies?
Maybe. I do remember a 5th one.
Yeah. Well, Mandy didn't originally work for Whoop. She got brought into it later.
I think they're the same person. I'll send my link. This is stupid.
They look the same.
Yeah, they look so
Have you seen
similar.
They literally
Oh,
look
yeah.
the same.
That's. I don't know.
She's like
mate.
the better version of Mandy. It's like she is a cheerful demeanor. Okay, she's not Mandy.
So weird.
No, her nemesis is literally Mandy. For goodness sake.
Are they twins or something? One's
I
evil,
I
no
have
one's
idea.
no
good.
idea. I feel like
Evil twin.
evil twin theory.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
no
it's the
idea.
doppelganger theory. There can only be one.
We are so off topic now. Okay. Well, my point was,
So invested.
She-
All right, let me come back. Sorry.
my point was, she just comes across as like a regular Jane. As you listed the characters, like Captain America, yeah, he's not natty, but he's got a big personality. Iron Man, big personality, even though he has no powers. He's a big brain multi-billionaire.
Mm.
And you know, you've got Thor, superpowers, Hulk, superpowers, and everyone else seems to have something that makes them special, and
What does Hawkeye bring to the equation?
he doesn't count.
Quickly.
But-
Hawkeye doesn't count either. Yeah, no. Nah.
Hawkeye is on apprenticeship. You do not consider that man.
Oh, the Avengers graduate scheme.
Yeah, he's on that 21K a year deal. No. We don't talk about
Just
Hawkeye.
sit and take notes.
We don't know. We don't acknowledge him here, but I do think that the fact that she doesn't have superpowers doesn't automatically mean I shouldn't like Black Widow, because with Batman, for example, one of the most invoking characters in fiction, and he has no natural superpowers. So I think it's just bad storytelling. As Akira rightly said, when it comes to female characters, it's only, you know, marriage or kids that seem to do anything to change their lives or affect them or be their backstory, and that's quite backwards. It's quite lazy, in my opinion.
You know what? I'm thinking about it. She's pretty 2D, isn't she? Like, I don't really know where I stand with like Scarlett Johansson as an actress, but I don't really know if there was like another actress who could make this person lively and interesting. We've had how many films with her in? There's always talking about what happens in Budapest. I don't give a shit what happened in Budapest, guys. I'm just trying to get to the end of the film. There's something about, I think, the way that she's been put into the film. They completely relied on, you know, the sexiness of putting her in that tight suit to carry her through the films. When if you're being compared to all these people with magic powers, you're essentially the coat boy. And I think the thing is, like, right at the end, obviously in what's this Endgame, where she sacrifices herself. I don't care about spoilers at all. You know this, where she sacrifices herself. I really don't feel like they did enough of a good job to make you feel for that character. Because when she went, I was like, yeah, okay. Let's go.
You know
Clint's
who I
not going to
cared
do it
about?
because he's got a family. He's got a wife and kids.
Mm.
Tony Stark.
But also Gamora.
Yeah.
I cared.
She had the
Yeah,
sister. She was sick. Gamora's sick.
Mm.
I'm actually pissed off with Captain America. If I could go back in time and slap him, I would. Because how you go?
Wait, what did
how
he
are
do?
you? First of all, how are you necking on with Peggy Carter's granddaughter, and then you think you can go back in time and disturb her? Clearly, she's had a family and things. She was out gallivanting, having her adventures. He flew back in time for pumps, disturbing her lifestyle. Tony Stark has like a 4-year-old child, and you're like, nice, right? Yeah, I'm more important. What a bellend.
Wait, hold on. He couldn't stop Tony Stark from sacrificing himself.
Why couldn't he do it though?
I mean, he probably would if he could.
It should have been
should-
him.
it
Come on,
should have been
Captain
him.
America.
Okay, but how
do
you-
it for the greatness of America. Sacrifice yourself for America, your country.
It
No,
should have
that's
been him.
It should have been him. Because what was he doing about racism? Nothing. He could have gone back to any time.
No. My best friend is black. No. I can't be
That's
racist.
what he was doing. You could have gone to any point in time. You didn't think to stop racism? No.
I'm just saying, like, after everything ended, the only thing he was interested in is going back in time to clap cheeks of a woman whose granddaughter? That
That's
he
his
also
granddaughter.
exactly. There's a whole Futurama situation going here. Like,
Hey, he
should I get the
he
bangers
tasted
out?
the
Dirty
wine.
bird.
He tasted the wine and he wanted to sample the grapes directly from the tree. Okay, that's
You are disgusting.
what happened.
But- This has just made me think, because isn't like Peggy Carter's granddaughter Sharon in Falcon and the Winter Soldier? So she doesn't just disappear. She's still there. So is he macking on with his own granddaughter?
I mean, if we follow the timelines, technically,
Yes.
at that point, it wasn't his granddaughter in his personal timeline.
Yes.
So, I mean,
Yes, he was. I won't take. You're moving the goalposts. He was committing crimes.
hey, who's going to stop him? It's Captain America.
Well, I really want to like look into this. Not so much a Black Widow issue, but I don't know if it's like a female character issue. So there is a rhetoric, kind of an unspoken rule, that female-led entertainment doesn't sell, whether it's games, movies, TV shows, books, anime. What does everyone think about that? I know that's a bit of a loaded question, but like this is like really just dump all your thoughts out here, because this is something that I'm sure we've all heard and we've all seen being said on social media and group chats, etc.
I'm going to rewind for a second just to give some credit to where it's due. I think Shuri's written quite well. I think the Women of Wakanda are written quite well. I think Storm's written quite well, especially in the comics as well. Like, there's a bit where I think she's having, this is just so random, where she's having a random conversation with Doom, and like it seems like an intellectual conversation between like two titans, and they're enemies, but they're having this like civil conversation, having like, you know, a little dinner in this like large expanse of wilderness. And even though it was just a scene that I saw on Twitter, I was like, oh, this is actually pretty powerful. But I think some women have been written correctly, but I will agree, like I don't see a lot of it. Like those examples I gave, that's everything. That's everything I have. But in terms of like media, I think it's a case where, because growing up, it always seemed like, you know, video games anyways were just primarily for like guys. So I think this is something like, because even though you had Lara Croft, she was done with the big boobs and, you know, like flesh showing for a reason. Even though it was triangular polygons, like people lost their shit for it. And like we are going in the right direction, but it's probably slower than it could be. Because firstly, Horizon Zero Dawn, just chef's kiss, great game, beautiful stuff. But like for me personally, there's only one Horizon Zero Dawn. We do have The Last of Us that had an amazing female protagonist, and Ellie. And there was also
You know what's
Smooth. I
you know
wasn't
what's having
expecting
the
that.
argument?
And like, I think there were some good female pro tags in an Uncharted DLC or whatever, but I just can't think of one. Obviously you got Samus, but I mean, she always wears a suit. I guess there are some points where you can get zero suit Samus, but I don't think it's enough to know that she's a woman, but just always in a suit. Like, but I don't know. I'm a guy just voicing his opinion, so they're not like super valid, I would say. But I don't know. I think there needs to be a little bit more. I think you're right. It's not pushed enough, and it shouldn't even be a push. It should just be like, you know, slap a female pro tag here, slap a male pro tag there. Like, flip a coin if you want, because you can, like, I think it would, even from like a gameplay perspective, because just biology alone, like, and you even see it in like bodybuilding and whatnot, men are usually like, you know, just a lot bigger but obviously women can still be, you know, strong or whatnot. You've seen that with Abby. But I don't know, maybe it leads to like, you know, different play styles. Like maybe the guy is just like a berserker or a woman's more, you know, like slender and quick or whatnot. But obviously you can have it vice versa. But I don't know, like, there are lots of routes that can be taken. But anyways, long story short, like, I don't think there is enough. And a really good example is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I don't think the woman was always meant to be there. They put her in because, you know, they were hedging their bets. We'll have a man, we'll have a woman. But it was the woman that took the awards. And yeah, there were a lot of great games that I think she won the best voice actor. Or, well, no, she was nominated for it. I mean, she was up against God of War, so she wasn't going to win. But that's not because she's a woman. It's just God of War.
Come on now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I think more could be done. And I'd love to see more games that have a female pro tag. Be pretty cool. And I don't think it doesn't do anything. Like Horizon Zero Dawn, like, I guess that could have been done with a guy, but I like the fact that it was done with a woman. And I think some of that was because she was just challenging all the stereotypes, and people telling her no, she was like, nah, fuck that, I'm gonna do what I like. I like strong women, and Aloy is as strong as they come. So yeah, like, more strong female leads, please.
Yeah, I was actually going to talk about the Odyssey point later on, but that is a very valid point. I'm not sure which way around it was. I'm not sure if it was they forced a woman in, or the female character was meant to be the main character. She was meant to be the only character. Yeah. And then someone high up in Ubisoft said, no, get a man in there as well. And the belief was women don't sell games. But before we get into that, Akira, what are your thoughts on the rhetoric?
I think that's a little bit, not even a little bit, that's massively rubbish. Your mouth is open. You're just letting shit come out. And if you think women are so useless, please turn around and say that to your mum.
Oh, beautiful. See, we need a soundboard of Akira. We need it. ASAP.
I think, well, for me, I don't think I choose games deliberately based on, like, if a man or a woman is the main character. Most of the times I do play games where you just design your character, and I'll go for a woman because that's probably what I'm more comfortable with and the experience that I want to have. And I don't think they should be trying to cut women out of gaming because is my money not good here? Do you not like paper? I think it's ridiculous. And if you look in, like, I'm going to go for film, some of the best films are female-led characters who ain't got shit to do with men. Kill Bill. Everybody's seen that shit. All she wants to do is kill that man and get her child back, but she will kill everybody else. Billiam he's not the main part of this. We barely even see him. We just hear his voice a lot of the time. We've got Aliens, where we've got Ripley, who's the woman, who's the boss-ass bitch who kills the aliens. And we've got Terminator, so we've got Sarah Connor. Kyle Reese was there a bit. He gave her what he gave her, but she's the one who killed the Terminator. Like, women sell. These are, like, some of the top films. Strong female characters sell. So people who say this, they don't know their ass from their elbow.
And again, Kill Bill was going to be my number one point. In the next point, we were actually going to talk about female.
Andy, man, get your own
content.
points. Stop stealing me and Akira's, man. Come on.
Well, I mean, I always let you guys speak first, and it's not my fault. You always steal my ideas.
Nah, don't try to turn this.
Hey, when it comes to the rhetoric, I think it goes a bit deeper than female characters don't sell or female-led entertainment doesn't sell. I think it's people behind female-led entertainment don't care enough about female-led entertainment for it to be successful. And by that, I mean the people who write the scripts, the people who actually storyboard, the people who actually are in charge of making sure every scene is done, every emotion is displayed. I don't think personally they put enough in to ensure that they've done the best possible job for this story. The way that they did an entire thing for the whole Spider-Man films, the Tom Holland era of Spider-Man, versus what they've done for like Captain Marvel and then for Black Widow, it's very clear which set of films they cared more about. And I think if you have not put the love and care and attention into the content, then I think that's going to reflect in the reviews and the viewership. I don't think the rhetoric is correct. I think that we need better people working on content that's going to showcase these women. Kill Bill is a great example of just a female lead who is just the best. I would probably say the best. Kill Bill is probably the best to have a woman as the lead, and it's up there. It's one of my best movies ever. The Last of Us for games, that's probably the best for me when it comes to a main character who's a woman, and it's so good. And it's not it's good for a woman main character. No, it's good point blank.
I think it passes the is it the Bechdel test as well, where they have a certain number of women in the media and they talk about stuff that isn't just a man. That helps. And I think I'm coming across something in my head. I think a lot of these complaints are being made because you can't just throw a bunch of guys who are really, really muscly and have themselves like fight each other for an hour and a half and call it a day and then make another 4, 5, 6 of these films or games. It's just not enough for people anymore. Like, we're not just going to have women in the sides just being there as the objects of affection. People actually want depth in their art. So we're asking for you to put a little bit more thought into what you're doing. And Ubisoft is like, do I really have to? I'm paying you for a product that is actually going to be worth my money. If I wanted to watch people fight, would we not just go into the streets?
I don't live on those streets. I'm staying at home.
And like that content is there if you want like stuff like that. Like the Fast and Furious franchise is great for people who want that kind of stuff, and the Expendables is great for people who want that kind of stuff. But not everyone wants that stuff, and not everyone's in the mood for that kind of stuff. So I think it is important to be able to give a variety and give actual good content. Like write all of your characters the same, no matter what they are.
Just give us good content. I think that also works for, like, carrying on for what you were saying about, you can obviously see where people have put their time and effort into movies, because we have had female superhero films coming out recently and the quality just doesn't feel up to scratch. Like, it really doesn't. Like, I watched the first Wonder Woman and I felt like that wasn't giving what it was supposed to give. Like, you could tell.
A lot of those DC movies weren't great.
I was
pretty bad.
I was thinking that this phase of DC films have been utter garbage, all of them. But I think that is still a good point, because even with Man of Steel, even though it's a garbage film, the plot is there and there are stakes. And with Wonder Woman, everything kind of seems a bit unclear.
This was the Superman one that came out. That
Yeah.
one annoys me as well, because the woman they had acting as
Lois?
Superman's mum
Okay.
is not as old as they try to make you believe. And I was like, you really just get past a certain age in Hollywood and they're like, yeah, you're someone's mum. You're not even an older woman. You're someone's mum. Like, the switch was so quick. They had to, like, the whole grade up wig and thing, like, they did her dirty.
Yeah,
They really
me too.
did.
Because in Spider-Man, Aunt May's young now. Like,
Yeah.
They could have
Well,
got
I
an
mean-
older actress. You can have
Yeah.
older people
Yeah.
in your films. But well, there you go. They don't want multifaceted women in these media. And I feel like another reason why they don't want multifaceted women in this media is because this multifaceted women will not be interested in these nonsense opinions of women can't do this, rare tear tear. They're not going to be appealing to these people who just want a 2D character. But at the same time, I'm not really bothered about this because, like, in the words of Joey Tribbiani, it's a moot point. Like, nobody gives a shit about Cal's opinion.
add that to the soundboard.
We can only hope that, you know, going forward, that they do take the right time and care into these future projects. Like, I don't see why not have a Harley Quinn solo project, whether it be a movie or a TV series. Or, I mean, there's a very successful TV series.
Yeah, the cartoon series is
Yeah.
really great, and Joker's
Very
hardly
cool.
even in it.
Hey.
I think that's another good example of female-led
Mm.
entertainment. Like that Harley Quinn series, which is like executive produced by Kaylee Cuoco. And I think that you can tell the difference that, you know, a woman is behind that project because it's good and not like token good. It's genuinely good, like good point blank.
It's so funny. That made me think of the Harley Quinn movie that came out with Birds of Prey, and obviously people were complaining as they normally do because they got nothing better to do with their lives. Like they couldn't just build a shed or some shit. But that film, I can see whoever said that by Ubisoft saying that film wasn't good. You know what? Yeah, it's the change. That film was not made for men. It was made for the female gaze. So if you compare what Harley Quinn was wearing in Birds of Prey to what she was wearing in Suicide Squad, those shorts, if we're being realistic, there was no way she was walking around the city streets with them, because if that was me, I would have had a wedgie 24/7. In the Birds of Prey film, they deliberately made her outfit something that if you were getting into cosplay or you were interested in, it was something for you to wear that you can make yourself, but you could also feel comfortable in. Like,
That's a
Yeah,
powerful
I think
point. Yeah.
that's very important. Yeah, because like when you cosplay, I think if I cosplayed, like all the cosplays I've done, I've never been uncomfortable. I've never been cold. Maybe I've been a bit too hot because maybe there's been like a lot on, but it's fine. But yeah, like if you have to go around wearing, you know, really, really like short skirts, and even the actor who played Harley Quinn she was just cold on set like all the time. It was horrible. If you had to just have a whole cosplay like that, it'd be pretty shit. And I mean, I hate to be the one to say it, but certain people whose titles begin with an I can be found at anime conventions. So again, it's not a good environment for them if they're wearing such things. I'm not saying it's their fault, but it's not their fault. But certain people are going to have certain entitlements, which isn't right. So yeah, I completely agree, Akira. Like you should be able to, you know, feel comfortable, and just, you know, have a nice outfit. I think that's why, like Korra, there are a lot of like really good Korra cosplays because fucking hell, it looks so comfortable. And like, I don't think this sounds bad. If it does, I would apologize. But like, if you're a well-built woman and you're in a Korra cosplay, it's very what's the word I'm looking for? Complimentary. Is complimentary the right word? Flattering. It's a really nice cosplay, basically. Yeah. And it looks comfortable. And honestly, if I could do it, I'd cosplay as Korra myself.
Well, there's no reason why you can't, because a lot of people are doing stuff, you know, it's characters at the end of the day, and these rules and the laws that people are putting on are all imaginary and they aren't worth their weight. So I mean, you can totally go ahead and do a Korra cosplay. I think it would be awesome. Like,
I do a Korra cosplay.
Yeah. We interviewed a woman dressed up as Captain America, and it was cool. Her cosplay,
her cosplay was sick. Yeah.
We're just gonna gender bend all the Avatar characters.
Why not?
Why freaking not?
I'm down to be tough.
I mean, like, this media that's released to us is made for our entertainment, but it's also made for us to like see a part of ourselves in it and feel comfortable in it. And if I want to dress as Harley Quinn, I personally, as an empowered woman, I don't want to be the version that's stuck underneath that psychopath. You want to be the one that's liberated. So I would like to wear the sparkly jacket and denim shorts. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. And, if you have a negative opinion, you can do one.
I hope that's something that's considered with future content going out. With Isaac's example, Horizon Zero Dawn, one of the greatest pieces of like woman-led content, women-led games. She's not wearing anything skimpy or super revealing. I'm not putting Square on blast here, but like if you look at Tifa Lockhart in comparison, that's a bit mad. And
she's always doing them high kicks as well. Like
it's not the same. And I think really they need to be looking at that and seeing how they can put a better image out going forward, because it is sending the wrong message to everyone, really.
I think the issue is like characters like her became like quite iconic, but they're iconic from an age where a lot of it was driven. A lot of video games were driven at young men going through puberty, certain things, and obviously that kind of stuff sells. But obviously, it was still a good game as well. So all of it put together, it is the perfect package for like a young adult. And unfortunately, like these images have become iconic, and it's not a bad thing because. Like, if Tifa wants to wear that, then that's absolutely fine. Tifa's not doing anything wrong. But I do agree with you. Like, it's not needed. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy. I don't know.
That just made me think when you brought Aloy up. Do you remember when, like, for the new game, her face was on Twitter and people were like, no, we need to fix it. And they was giving her like the whole Fenty Beauty look. And it's like, come on now, guys. First of all, she's not going to shag ya. So I don't know why you're bringing this up. It's not going to happen. So
I remember that. And that was a nightmarish day. I wanted to delete Twitter so bad that day. If it wasn't for the brand, I would have. It was really embarrassing to be let down by what I can only assume was a male, because I'm not too sure. I don't know why you're giving Aloy a makeover. Do you know the game that Aloy is going to star in? Have you not seen her clothes?
She's not seen the time period she's in.
It? She's meant to be rough looking, and that is her appeal. I think that's cool as fuck. And you're just foregoing all that just so she can have contour and all of this makeup stuff. It makes no sense. Why is she fighting robots with a full face of makeup on?
So she's casket ready.
What? It was the most asinine.
It's the
tweet of all time.
It's really the assumption, mate. Aloy with makeup isn't gonna look at you. Aloy now is not even gonna look at you. I'm surprised people are looking at you in general, but you want to come in here and tell people how to dress. How about you wash your ass and mind your business?
So bad.
Or don't buy the game. They're not. What is Ubisoft going to be crying because so and so on Twitter decided not to buy the game? Like
it was embarrassing, and I will actually say I think Aloy is just beautifully designed the way intended. Originally, her original design I think is beautiful. Like, it's a great design. It doesn't need any fixing or anything like that, and Aloy doesn't need to be beautiful anyway. Like, she's just a character. She's just a person. This is her story. This is her life. Her looks shouldn't really equate to your attention or how into the game you are. But that's a beating your head against a wall. That
I literally can't think of any media where someone's beauty has been like that. That's their main storyline. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Aside from like Aphrodite, who's obviously supposed to be the most beautiful person ever, but beauty is subjective. So we have no idea what she looks like. So it's not like it does anything to the story. The game's going to be a good game either way. It doesn't change the course of the game.
Yeah. Any final points from anyone?
I mean, I was going to say, if you think Joel was better looking, like, he wouldn't be dead. Like, is that the road we're going down? Like...
Oh no.
Maybe Dad Bod wasn't in at that period of time. If he had just had the right type of thing going on, he might still be with us. Yeah, it's not going to work, does it? It doesn't work the other way around. It doesn't work this way.
If only he groomed his beard.
If only he should have done a side parting. You know?
Where was the fade?
We tried to warn him. Just what
He had a
happening.
thicker layer of foundation. Maybe the golf club would not have penetrated his head.
Bad times. Finally, to end things on a lighter note, Super Mario breaks yet another record. A rare sealed copy of Super Mario Bros. On the NES has sold for $2 million. Please remember that in case I bring that up in a future quiz. Rally originally acquired the cartridge for $140,000, and obviously they flipped that massively. Don't know who's buying a cartridge for an outdated console for $2 million, but you got the money for it. Do your thing. Isaac, the new gaming quiz champion. How do you feel about this? What do you think goes through the mind of someone who looks at a cartridge and goes, $2 million? Yeah, I'll pay that.
I think it's a weird one. Like, it kind of depends on how you value the world. So, like, for example, a lot of people will spend, I don't know, like 30 quid every day buying food. And that might seem like an expense, but let's say you're working during that time and an hour of your time is worth like 500 quid. So that 30 quid is nothing in comparison. This person who bought it, maybe they're a collector, maybe they just have to get everything. Maybe it was the final piece of their puzzle, and maybe they just have the money to spend. Maybe to them, it was a £2 million investment. I think, first and foremost, money isn't real. And secondly, it's what you place your value on. And if this person thinks that it was definitely worth it, and it wasn't a stupid decision, and by stupid decision, I mean, they won't be able to pay for all of their, their liabilities and all their rent, etc., then fine. I think, it just depends on like your outlook and what you have and how you're comparing things. Because like, let's say everyone got paid £2 million or something, then it wouldn't be anything, but everything would be more expensive. So your rent would cost you like, I don't know, 100k like a month or something, but you're getting paid $2 million, so it's not a thing. It's just the value of money. Money doesn't exist anyways. But I don't know, man. Like, people are gonna do these things and it's gonna go in the news. And honestly, I don't care, because like, you're right, it's an old, outdated cartridge. And when I bought like an N64, because I never had one as a kid, I played it all of 2 times and I haven't touched it once. Every now and then I'll dust it. Like,
but the aesthetic.
Not even. I want to put it in a box somewhere and just forget about it for a bit. It's taking up space. Anyways, long story short, like, if you have the money to purchase something and it won't negatively affect you, but it'll bring you happiness, 100% do it. Just be smart with your finances. But yeah, I just don't care. But I will say, I need to get something that's nonsense, meet someone rich, and a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit Willy Wonka, like what he was like, eccentric, and just market them this bullshit thing I bought for like £5 and flip it for like 2 million. I need that in my life. I need that. But yeah, what about you guys?
I don't know if you have any points.
When you said like, what do you think was going through their head? Do you know that bit in the Simpsons movie where Homer's standing there and there's the monkey with the symbols just in his head? That's what I thought was going through their head at the time, because I don't understand that being the purchase that you're going to make with 2 million.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I get what Isaac means. If you have 2 million just to burn, you would buy some silly ass shit like that. You better have a fucking NES that works, innit?
Yeah.
Drop in 2 million and be like, Huh.
Oh.
But good on the guy who actually sold it, because nice. Fucking sweet.
I do think that it's their money. So what I think or say doesn't matter really. Hey, if you can drop 2 million on a NES, this guy's got to be very well off. This guy's got to be someone. I feel like they must be like known. Like,
Was it Kanye?
I don't know, man. The way he's been moving, I wouldn't be surprised. But you know what I mean? I feel like it's got to be someone like of real wealth to like drop 2 million on something that he's really not going to use. He's probably just going to hang it up in this war or sell it in 20 years' time to 10 times the value. I think it's what as you were implying or inferring, Isaac. Actual wage, isn't it? So I wouldn't be buying that because I can't afford that. And if I could afford that, I wouldn't, because I'd probably buy property. But that's the way I'm inclined. But everyone's different. So this was just funny to me. So I just wanted to see what everyone thought about it. But 2 million on the game, it's a bit mad. In football, people call that fucking up the transfer market, and I feel like that's what's happening here, because if he doesn't have a NES, how much is he gonna have to pay for the console, bro? Like a rare box NES console. I mean, I'm just saying.
Do you know how? I know it says that it's like sealed and shit, but how funny would it be if there's not actually a game in there?
Might be a defect.
That'd be so funny. Yeah. Don't open it though. It's sealed.
Fine.
It's sealed. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Blow the cartridge while I get in my car.
Don't worry about it. This man's changing his name on the way to the airport. Like. 2 million for vibes.
I mean, that's a flex, isn't it? Like, Insta would love that. But are there any of? Go on.
Like, do you really want to make an enemy out of someone who just drops 2 million like it's nothing?
Yes.
Definitely not.
All right. Huh? Akira's ready to fight, and his head. Oh yeah.
Do you know what? Yeah, I've seen enough action movies. Yeah, I've watched the Avengers. I think I could take this guy. I've got good on my side.
The Avengers is your source material. Okay.
The Avengers is my source
I think we're done here.
That's fine. I shall collect a group of friends to fight with me. One of you may die, but it's not going to be me because I got the first film.
I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
Oh god.
Any final points as we wrap up from anyone?
Yeah, I'm not joining Akira on this campaign.
No.
It doesn't matter. You're getting recruited. I'm not asking if you want to join.
Oh, that would be drafted.
Are you the government?
You're being drafted. Yes, you're being my Bucky Barnes. You're going to war, bruv.
Oh god.
How you get to live? I mean, you lose now, but you get to live like it's all swings and roundabouts at this point. Don't laugh. You'll be Hawkeye.
No. That arrow's going in my own head. If you are watching this podcast on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to us and set the bell to all so you get every video as soon as we drop it, because that really shows your support for us and it helps us out a lot. You can also listen to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a host of other audio platforms. If you can, give us a rating, because that also helps us out quite a lot. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, Streamcast_. Follow us on Twitch, Streamcast TV. And check out our website, thestreamcast.co.uk. And I mentioned it earlier, Isaac is the new quiz champion. Shout out to the Nerd Alternative. They are a great podcast and just a great bunch of people. They 100%. Are also a Black British gaming platform delivering podcasts, and we'll put their links in the description. And you could check out the quiz with them on our Twitch, see how that went. It is a new month, so let us give a shout out to our patron, Spilt Milk Studios. Make sure you follow them on every platform you can. They are great people. And their CEO just had a birthday recently. So go over there and send them a happy belated birthday. Speaking of Patreon, we are going to be working on our first ever exclusive Patreon podcast very soon. The topic will be Netflix versus Amazon Prime. So why not hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, or in the comments and let us know which is your preferred service and why, because we'll be debating that. Until then, please take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Stay safe and we'll catch you on the next Streamcast.